Thank you, sir.
Okay. So what is operations? What is operations management? What is value chain? Trying to put it in slide minutes. Okay, so like I said from the beginning, operations is a function or a system that transforms input into outputs of greater value. And I did say that the greater value is of importance to me. What is the point? If you convert inputs or you transform inputs and the output you are getting is of less value than the input you aggregated, obviously you are not going to make money. And there is no sense in it. So it's important for us to understand that when we are transforming operations, we should transform to give us outputs which are of greater value, which means the value of the output should be more than the input resources that we use. Should be more than the input resources that we use. Okay. What is operations management? It is concerned with the design, the operation, and improvement of productive systems. So series of activities for getting work done. Operations management function is concerned with the design, operation, and improvement of productive systems. So we are not just concerned about we designing a product. We are also concerned about converting that design into a physical product. And then again, we are also concerned about over time trying to improve that design and also improve the production process or the productive system that produces the item. Those of you who are not using your phone to access this class, you can use the phone, use your phone to check on Ford T model and see the type of car it was. Ford T model, Ford T model. Has anybody seen it?
Yes, sir.
How does it look like?
Like an old movie car.
It's like a cart.
It looks like a car.
Like a cart, like the horse cart. The carriage.
Like a cart. Okay. Okay. And at the time, it was only the rich people that could afford it. You see? But today, is that what we have in terms of Ford? We have elegant designs. Production systems have improved, and the cars are a lot better. They're a lot better. So the design, that is the original design. Over the years, see how the design has gone through some kind of revolution. And it has changed drastically. And I always tell my students that the concepts that we learn in operations management are so typical of our real life situations. So this thing that we are talking about, what is it that we do in our everyday life? At our various workplaces, what is it that we do? Can we think outside the box and improve what we do? Bring innovations into what we do to make it better? Something that usually takes us 2 weeks to finish at work. Can we design it in such a way that we now can use only 1 week to finish the work? We shouldn't always keep to the status quo. We should look at improving the systems, improving our own life. At church, you sing. How do you make your voice better? It's a consistent training of the voice. At home, your husband keeps praising you, Priscilla. Your husband keeps praising, oh, Priscilla, your food is nice. Oh, I like the way Eric likes my food. But if it becomes one way, it will get to a time Eric will no longer be interested. So from time to time, you need to look for new designs. Maybe a kwele, a crow, plus ademe. You see, so operations management looks at the design, the operation, and the improvements of these processes that convert. That's the conversion. Then related to these two terminologies is what we call the value chain. And what is the value chain? It is a series of activities from supplier to customer that add value to a product, that add value to a product. Series of activities from supplier to customer that add value to the product. So let's think about, let's have a typical scenario. Nathan Francis, are you there? Nathan Francis, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm there. Sir, I'm there.
You are there.
Yes, sir.
Do you eat banku?
Yes, sir.
You do?
I do. Yes, sir.
Okay. So you eat banku. Can you give us the process, the value chain that produces banku right from the farm? Can you give us the process?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so go ahead.
So from the farm, you go and dig the cassava, and after that, you carry it home, and you send it to the corn mill where they grind the mill. Then they will grind it. After that, they put it in a sack and they press it. That's a used stone to press it, and some of the water will come out from the sack. Then after that, they will mash it and put it into the bowl or the
Francis.
Sir.
Francis.
Sir.
What did I say? I said banku, and you were talking about cassava dough.
Yes, sir, I'm coming. I'm on the process. The banku is made up of the cassava dough and the corn dough. So I'm coming. I'm okay, now
so
at
ignore the cassava. We know banku is dominantly maize. So start from maize.
Okay. So you soak the maize in water.
No, we are looking at the sauce. The sauce. So
from
okay,
the farm.
Let me cut it short for you so we move forward. So the farmer grows the maize. Yeah. Then the Agbogloshi people will go to Adesu or Mankesim or wherever to go and buy the maize, bring it there. Do you think that buying the maize from the villages and bringing it to, say, Adesu market to come and sell, are they adding value?
No, sir. There's no value in that.
Are you sure?
Yes.
There is value. You move from village to village. You buy from the farmers, and then you put them in sacks, and then you take it to Adesu market. So you get to Adesu market, you have, let's say, 5 bags of maize that the Agbogloshi people will come and buy from you. You haven't added value.
Okay, you are looking at it. You are looking at it in terms of the sacks. I was looking at it in terms of raw material because it hasn't been mashed to get the corn dough.
Okay, so here we are looking at the value chain. chain that the product moves through to the final consumer. You understand? So, and it's with the farmers or in the villages. Those of us in Accra, we wouldn't have access to it. So somebody goes there, goes to the villages and buys them and put them, aggregates them into sacks and brings it to others to market. He's adding value. The same thing, somebody will go to others to market, buy them in several bags, and then bring them to, say, a market. The person is also adding value. You see? So from the farm to this wholesalers to retailers, and then the banku preparers or those caterers who go and buy the maize from the agriculture market, come and prepare. They are also adding value. And then we will go and buy and then we'll eat. So that is a value chain. Every product that we see around us has a value chain. And the value chain is simply the series of activities that a product moves through from the supplier to the final customer. So this is the, if you do operations management, you should be familiar with this model. The operations transformation, input transformation output process model. This is what we do in operations. We take the inputs, and the inputs can come in the form of raw materials. It can come in the form of machines. It can come in the form of labor. It can come of management. It can come in the form of management. It can come in the form of capital. What else can you conceptualize as input that has not been captured here? Enoch, Nana, do you have anything in mind which has not been captured here? Enoch. Enoch. Don't do what the undergraduates do. They log in and it's recorded that they attended the lecture. Meanwhile, they are far away from their computers. So I'll note you down, Enoch, Nana, as one of them. Linton, are you there?
Yes, I'm there.
Okay. Linton, do you have
Yes,
anything in mind in terms of the input we are talking about here that has not been captured?
Okay, I've seen capital and labor and so please can I just go over, maybe I'll catch up before I'm not getting it well.
You don't understand what I mean?
Yes, yes, I'm not getting the whole thing. So I just want to relax and then gather myself and come back again.
Okay, relax. Take it easy. Relax.
Okay, sir.
Gather yourself, put yourself together and come back again.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Now, when we get the inputs, the input goes through a transformation process. So the inputs are transformed. And when they are transformed, we get the outputs. Yeah? We get the output, which can be in the form of goods and services. And what are these goods and services for? The goods and services are for customers.
Final, yeah.
Yeah,
Consumers.
final customers. And don't forget that consumers can be organizations or they can be individuals like you and myself. Okay. And then we also have this feedback loop. You can see the feedback loop. Yeah. And one of the loops, this is the feedback loop moves from outputs to transformation process. It can also move from the transformation process to the inputs. Now, how do we do it? We transform the item into a finished product. The customer buys it. Now, the customer can come with compliments. The customer can come with complaints. I remember those days. I don't know how old some of you are. Those days when geisha came, they had this beautiful advert, geisha or last time, and it was so heavy. It was big. And no soap holder in the bathroom to hold it. Children have to put it on the floor and use the sponge on it. Because the concept of geisha was a family soap. And so if it's a family soap, it should be big enough to cover the entire family. It appears the concept that the manufacturer used to produce the soap, the concept didn't get on well with customers. Customers were not happy with the size of the soap. So they raised complaints about it. And today, what is the size of geisha? It's a normal, small size soap. You see. So complaints from customers can come into the transformation process. And then we will adjust the transformation process so that we give our customers what they want. So as a small banku seller, your customers come and then they buy your food. You can ask them, how is the banku like today? And then it's saying, so so if customers are talking about smelling smoke in the banku, then we'll need to adjust our transformation process. Maybe instead of the firewood, which we have been using to prepare the banku, we should move away from the firewood to use something like
Charcoal.
Something like charcoal. Something like charcoal. So yes, we take feedback, customer complaints from them, and then we use the. Again, we can also, the transformation process can also be used to adjust the inputs. Complaints from customers can go into the transformation process, again, feedback into the inputs. So for example, I come to buy the banku and I tell you that, I don't like the color of the banku. If I tell you that I don't like the color of the banku, maybe I find it too yellowish. And it's because you use yellow maize, which is now very common on the market. You see? So what will I do? In this case, the feedback from the customers is not going to change anything here, but rather it's going to affect our inputs. So next time we go to Agbugbushi, instead of buying yellow maize, Dennis, what are we going to buy? Dennis, what are we going to buy?
Buy the normal white maize.
Normal white maize. Okay. Great. You see, again, maybe when the banku was perfect, there was nothing wrong with it, but the stew, the red oil that was used to prepare the okra stew, there's a bad smell in the red oil. You see, we may have to go and change where we normally buy our red oil from. So in essence, what this diagram is trying to demonstrate to us is that, yes, this is the model that shows the inputs, the transformation and output process. And that feedback is also very important when it comes to, and that's why when you go to some organizations, they have this suggestion box there. It's a kind of feedback for them to improve on what they do. But some of them, even the suggestion box, the key to the suggestion box is lost 200 years ago. So that box never gets open. You see, in modern organizations, you see this tablets where you go after your service or after the product, you go onto the tablets and then you punch to give them the feedback so they can use it to improve the process. So let's understand the fact that that feedback from the customer end, which will be on the products and services that we are delivering, can be used to improve the transformation process, and it can also be used to improve our inputs. Any question? Any question?
Not for me, sir.
Not for you. Okay. So here, there is this other loop, which I've not talked about, requirements. So how do we know which materials to buy? How do we know which machines to buy? How do we know which type of people to employ? It will also depend on what goods and services customers are asking for. What goods and services customers are asking for. Yeah? So for example, we are in a salon, a small salon at Ablekuma. And it appears most of the people who come there not come for washing or anything. What they want is for their hairs to be plaited. This is your wig. They come with Brazilian hair for you to weave it for them. They come with the Indian hair, the Italian hair, the Spanish hair. That should tell you, as the owner of the salon, that you should get somebody who is good in, Priscilla, to get somebody who is good in what type of labor?
Hair making.
Yes. You know, be a styling. Don't go and bring somebody who is good in this jelly kind of thing. We moved away from that though. Somebody who can do plates very good hair. So that determines our input requirements. Again, in terms of even machines, we look for machines that can help produce excellent hairdos for women. So these are the loops. These are the loops. Okay, so the transformation process can be one, it can be physical, it can be locational, it can be exchange, it can be physiological, it can be psychological, it can be informational. In other words, when we are talking about a transformation here, don't only restrict your understanding to conversions which are made by machines. So for example, I take maize to a corn mill, the corn mill converts it into a smooth something for me. That is the only kind of transformation we have. No. Or we go to Takrade flour mill, and the input is wheat. And we have these huge machines which will take the wheat and convert it into a flour. That is not the only kind of transformation we're talking about. And that transformation can take several other systems. Okay, so I think I've explained this one already. Requirements and feedback from customers are important in adjusting factors in the transformation process. This is so because we wish to ensure an efficient transformation process, and we also need the output to be of greater value than the sums of the output. So physical transformation, manufacturing. So like what Takrade flour mill will do, we'll look at that and say that is physical transformation. What special eyes will do also be referred to as physical transformation because they are manufacturing. Then we also have locational. So transformation or warehouse operations. So my good friend, somebody who said that if I go to the villages and buy the maize, It's all parts of the transformation process. Then we have exchange, retail operations. That will be referred to as exchange. Then we have physiological. So I go to a hospital, sit in front of a doctor. He asks me a couple of questions. He prescribes something for me. I take it. I feel that I'm okay. I'm back to normal. That is physiological. And then psychological. I take my wife here to a silver bed to go and watch. Give me one of the latest love movies.
Bridgerton.
Say it, type it for me. Please type it for me. Reginald. Oh, Bridgerton. I'll go and look for it and take a care to go and watch it. Great. So that is referred to as psychological. And then we also have informational. So Peace FM, Power FM, TV3, they all do some kind of transformation, and theirs is referred to as informational transformation. If I go to the spa on the Cigar Coffee Road, what's the name? What's the name of that spa?
Holy Trinity.
Hey, I have a wonderful person in this class. You answer all my questions, eh? And remind me at the end of the semester that I said I'm giving you a bonus of 10 marks.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. If I go to Holy Trinity Spa and then I get a good massage that makes me relax, where would you put that kind of transformation? It's a physical, locational, exchange, physiological, psychological, informational.
Psychological.
Physiological.
Mm.
Physiological and psychological.
Yeah, I believe physiological.
Yeah. Psychological. I also put a locational.
Locational itself. Physiological.
Psychological.
Physiological. Okay. Right, let's move on. So operations managers, who are they and what do they do? Banks, they have operations managers. Hospitals, they have operations managers. Factories, they have operations managers. Governments, they have operations managers. Who would you think will fit into the position of an operations manager for a government? Hey, let's talk. What do you think that person will be? It's going to be the chief of staff. It's going to be the chief of staff. Okay, now let's go to hospitals. Hospitals, you will not find a title operations manager. What do you find in hospitals?
So hospital, the administrator is the operation manager.
Very good. Do you work in a hospital yourself?
Yes, sir.
Great. Great. And when you go to some factories, you not find the term operations manager, you rather find production manager. Is anybody working in any manufacturing firm here? Anybody in any manufacturing firm here? Oh, nobody. Okay. So some call them production managers, others call them what is their name? Operations managers. If you go to Thermasteel, I don't know whether the name has changed. Thermasteel, what used to be called Steelworks, they are called production managers. Okay? If you go to the banks, you tend to find what's the name operations managers. The banks tend to use the title operations managers. What about universities?
So the vice chancellor.
No, the vice chancellor can't be the operations manager. It's usually the registrar.
The registrar.
Yeah, it's the registrar who acts as the operations manager. Okay, but he or she delegates a lot of duties to other people. All right. So what do they do? One, they design systems, they ensure quality, they produce products, they deliver services. They work with customers and suppliers. Why do you think operations managers need to work with customers? Why?
So because the customers that give them, they work for the customers. I think they,
Oh, Sadiq,
in order to satisfy their needs.
can you hear me? Hello?
Yeah.
Yeah, Sadiq. Okay, Sadiq, your point is made. Thank you. Bismarck, you also contributed. That's
Hello,
great.
can you hear me, sir?
Yes. Theophilus, your hand is up.
So for the right feedback, it's better to deal with the end user, the direct end user. So that's why.
Okay, so we work with customers so we can understand their requirements and then be able to fulfill them. A lot of women have issues with their husband just because they don't know what your husband is a customer, is your customer. And that's your number one customer. You are doing operations management. Begin to apply the concepts you are learning in operations management to your marriage. As a man, your wife is a customer, a major customer. It's a key account. I know how the banks manage key account holders. They're very important. They treat them special. So in the same way, your husband being your customer, and nobody then. What do you want me to do to make you happy? Don't assume that you understand Kojo better than himself. So try and understand, do things the way Kojo likes, or try and do things the way Ama likes, because they are our major customers. If they leave, we are doomed. Let's satisfy them, make them happy. They are learning operations management. So work with customers and suppliers. They need to work with suppliers because the supplier is an unofficial extension of the business. If I don't get a rice condo, cassava dough, my customers will complain about my banku. So I need to make sure that my suppliers are doing something right. They are doing the right things. Because if they do things wrong, it can have a ripple effect on my operations. So I need to deal with them. I need to let them understand what I do. So they supply things, materials, raw materials, parts and components that will contribute to the quality I want to maintain in my organization. And then they also solve problems. This is why I see women as very good operations managers. At home, they solve problems. Sometimes the man has no money, and yet they will manage to solve that beautiful problem, solve that problem beautifully. Before you realize something is on the table for you to eat, they think outside the box. Again, they re-engineer processes. When processes are not delivering value, operations managers must be able to re-engineer the process. For example, something that you would think shouldn't take more than 20 minutes to do in the organization within our production floor. We are taking about 25 minutes to do that. How then do we engineer the process? So we make sure that we do it less than the 20 minutes or up to the 20 minutes. And they innovate and they integrate. Innovation is quite important. What is it that I know how to do it? How can I do it better than the way I used to know or the way I am already familiar with? Innovation. Innovation. An organization survives on innovation. If you're an organization and you don't innovate, it gets to a time. You see, customers of businesses, they are like women. They always want to see new things. Even if it's old, they want it to be repackaged in a new form. That's all you know. It won't take long. They'll use that to insult you. Innovate. 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 Okay. So let's look at business process re-engineering. Sorry. How do we do business? What is business process re-engineering? First, we set target for improvements. Improvement continues until no further improvement is feasible. Then the process re-engineering is required when improvement to achieve target is not possible. So we set a target. I'm trying to explain a situation that will call for business process re-engineering, which means that we may have to turn around, reorganize our business process. We have set a target, say we want to produce 200 pieces of an item in an hour. That is our target. And we set our processes in place. So we keep improving, we keep improving, we keep improving. So maybe it was up to, formerly we were doing like 100 per hour. With our new target, with our this thing, we are able to improve to say 150. We are able to improve to 200. And then when we hit the 200, you can see that we can no longer go beyond the 200 an hour. But our target is 250. Which means that the process that we have put in place cannot achieve the 250 per hour. So we may then have to reorganize our business process to see if we can now achieve our target of 250 pieces an hour. See? So basically what business process re-engineering does is that when we realize that no further improvement can be made to achieve a target, then business process re-engineering is set in motion. It's set in motion. Operations management tries to ensure that the transformation process is performed efficiently. And how do we do that? To know that we are performing efficiently, we measure that by this terminology called productivity. Yeah? Productivity. Productivity. And how do we measure productivity? Productivity is measured by dividing outputs of the process by the inputs of the process. We want to determine how efficient the company is being, that production is being, that a system is being. And that is we use the term productivity. And we measure productivity by dividing the output of the process by the input of the process. We'll do some calculations on this one later on. Let's move on. Now, the operations manager's job is to improve this ratio. As an operations manager, you want to improve the efficiency of your operations. In other words, you want to improve your productivity. What it means is that we want to, even if we are using the same input, we want to increase our output. If we are operating in a saturated market and output cannot be increased, to improve productivity and to enhance efficiency, we need to try and reduce our inputs. I hope I'm making sense here. If you don't understand anything, you can raise up your hand and ask a question. We are saying that the operations manager's job is to make sure that this ratio is improved, your productivity is improved, so that whatever input resources you are using, you are getting more output for it. Okay? So say we are using our output is say 24, and our input is say 6. Yeah, that gives us a productivity ratio of say 4. Now, as an operations manager, you want to improve this. So can we use the same input resources of 6 to generate output resources of say 30? So if with the same input resources of 6, we increase our output to 30, it's now going to be 30. Yeah? 30 over 6. And that will give us, Kelly, that will give us what?
5.
That will give us 5. You see? So this is what the operations manager should look to improve. Should look to improve. There could be an instance where the output may not be, we may not be able to increase our output. So then we focus on our input resources. How do we try and minimize our input resources to generate the same level of output? So in this case, we'll try and look at our input resources and see where there are inefficiencies, see where there are wastes, and try and clamp down on those wastes and inefficiencies. Once we do that, we can reduce our input resources to about say 4, producing the same output of 30. See, and our productivity is still going to increase. It's still going to increase. Okay. So understand our operations manager's job is to improve this ratio, which is the efficiency. How is this done? How do we improve the efficiency or productivity of the firm? 1, training. Let me ask you one question. Why How do you think training can improve the productivity of the firm? How will training contribute to the productivity of the firm?
So please, training will enhance the workers' efficiency. They will be able to do quality work, therefore improve on production or efficiency.
Yes. See, once again, let me bring you home. When your young girl is about 8 years old and you are teaching her how to prepare banku, at that level, you know, they don't have that competency. And so if you leave them alone to do it, you go to the kitchen, by the time you come out of the kitchen, you see that half of the dough is on the is in the coal pot or on the stove. All those are waste and inefficiency. So you come and you tell, I don't know, you don't do it this way. Hold the stick this way. And that is part of the training. Gradually, as the training goes down well with your little girl, you see that now the girl can prepare the banku with nothing nothing going into the fire or onto the floor. So training helps. Training improves people's competency, the competency of staff. One organization that I know, every 6 months you go for training. And again, let me bring in some of these experiences that we've had from foreign countries. When you go doing your PhD outside it, you need to do some of this international boy. I remember one of the jobs that I did was to go to people's house and administer medication. And for you to administer medication to people in their own homes, you need that training. And that training expires every 3 months. If the training, your certificate expires a single day, you don't have the right to go and administer medication to anybody. In fact, your company will not even send you because your certification has expired. Your knowledge, even though the knowledge will still be there, but they are scared. And maybe you've gone dead on some issues. So because they don't want that to happen, usually when it's about a week to expiry, they'll call you, inform you that your training is expiring in 7 days. If you need to continue with this job, book a training. And those trainings are usually a day. So you spend a full day going through the whole thing again. And I find them to be good because they refresh your memory of the things that you know. And then sometimes when new innovations come, you go for these trainings and you get them. So yes, training improves the efficiency. What about technology? What about technology? Can technology also enhance productivity?
Yes, it does, especially when it comes to,
Yes, it can.
Okay, please go, carry on.
I'll give an example of quantity in terms of quantity, and I'll use when you come to the home, like the blender. Before we would use the stone grinder.
Yes. Yeah.
But now, because of improved technology, we have the blender. You're able to do more and also faster. So time and then the quantity of output has now greatly improved. And you find that's being replicated in a lot of manufacturing companies as well. Because of technology, they're able to produce more and they're also able to meet time deadlines and then all of that.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. Then the next one is Sadiq. I saw your hand was up. Please go to supervision, enhanced supervision. Sadiq Ahmed, your hand was up. Or you are not prepared for this one.
Okay. Okay, so with the enhanced supervision, I was, I'm speaking, sir.
Yeah, you're on.
Hello.
Sadiq, I can hear you.
Hello.
Sadiq, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay.
So with the enhanced supervision, I would say that with more supervision, you'll be able to do more in the sense that when you're making a mistake, because of the supervision, you'll be able to detect the mistake early, which will let you correct it, which you will not make the same mistake in future, which leads to efficiency.
Okay. Okay. And apart from that, there are people that when you leave them on their own, in some of our organizations, they will not work. So you set target for them. And somebody must monitor to check that you are you are meeting the targets. That is supervision.
So, question.
Go ahead.
From what you are saying, where the person has to watch you, wouldn't that be like a waste of resource? Because now I have to pay somebody to watch you work. Whilst that person could have do something else, which also improve productivity. Shouldn't there be like some kind of rules that will probably like let people work even though you don't have supervision than to be lazing around?
Yes. So yes. So if the rules are there and somebody is not monitoring it, how would the rules be applied? So just like our police officers. Okay, the government says that because of the ABCD, you need your car to be insured before you can drive on the road. You need to take your car to PVLA for them to check the road worthiness before you can drive. You need to have that pass before you can drive. If there is nobody on the road supervising this, you think people will do? Even with police officers on the road, there are a lot of people who drive cars without insurance. And when they are caught, that money which could have been used to do the insurance are rather used to pay the police officers. Apologies to police officers in my class. You see? So it's not necessarily somebody sitting down to watch people, no. But somebody supervising. Supervising goes beyond sitting down to watch. Supervising includes making sure that you put mechanisms in place to regulate the performance of people and making sure that indeed people are complying with these regulations.
Okay.
Thank you. So enhanced supervision also improves productivity. You hear those guys who work in banks crying. How can I meet these targets? Somebody is watching you. You've been given assigned a target. That's why you have to meet within a time period. Somebody is watching you. If you don't meet that target, there is a penalty. And because of that, you also make sure that you work hard. You don't want to meet that penalty because you don't want to go home. If you go home, who is going to feed that your beautiful wife that you care so much about? So then you work day and night trying to make sure that you meet your target. Why are you doing that? If there were no supervision, do you think you do it? I'll put on the corner of Brian and Brian. Then enhance machine performance. Sometimes you go to some manufacturing firms and you look at the equipment they are using. You say, oh my God, how many units of the output can this machine produce? You see, but when we regularly maintain our machines, even a good example is the cars that we drive. If we regularly maintain them, you see how our cars perform, and they will never leave us on the road. They don't break down easily. But if you don't maintain your car regularly, what happens? Right in the middle of the road, when you have a very important appointment time to meet, that's when the car breaks down. You see? So that's another one. We can also improve productivity by reducing waste. And again, I'll say that training contributes to this. Training contributes to reduction of waste. Up to this point, any question? No question. Okay. So Operations managers can achieve, sorry, this one, this can be achieved. What is it? This one. Operations manager's job is to improve this ratio, improving this ratio, improving the efficiency. How this is done through this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. So like I did explain to you earlier, that ratio, output over inputs, we can improve it by reducing inputs while keeping output constant. This is what I did here for you. Yeah. So we'll go back to this. Sorry. Reducing inputs while keeping output constant. And like I said, this will happen in saturated market. Saturated markets are markets where it's difficult. I mean, there are lots of people producing it. And therefore, if you increase your output, you might not be able to sell. So there is no need for you to increase your output. But it doesn't mean that you cannot improve your efficiency. You can improve your efficiency by reducing waste. And that is what I demonstrated here for you. So in this example, we are operating in a saturated market. As the maximum we can produce, even though we have the capacity to produce more, if we produce more, nobody will buy. So we restrict ourselves to producing 30 pieces a day. Now with that 30 pieces, how do we improve our productivity? We can only improve our productivity through reducing our input resources. And how do we reduce our input resources? We can reduce our input resources through training so that people will become more competent, more efficient to reduce their waste. We can bring in technology to do things faster and better. We can improve our supervision to make sure that people are doing what is required of them. A simple paper that has to be signed sometimes will be on somebody's table for 2 good weeks. And you ask, what is it that they need to sign that paper? See? So now let's go to the second point. We can also improve the ratio by increasing output while keeping inputs constant. How? I will do this through, particularly in unsaturated markets. And that is the other example I gave you here. Yeah. So our output is 24. Our input is 6. We say that, okay, we want to improve. We want to use the same 6 in produce more. And so from the 6, we're able to increase our output to 30. And again, the same principles as you can see here, works. So any activities that do not add value should be eliminated, and usually those are wastes. In time past, there was an activity in most manufacturing organizations called inspection. Now, about 90% of organizations have gotten rid of inspection. Why? Because they are using systems like total quality management, where what they need to ensure that a quality product is produced is put in place. So once the product goes through that system and comes out, there is no need for you to inspect it. Because inspection is an activity that takes resources, takes money, but doesn't really add any value to operations. Okay? So what are some of the activities that do not add value? Over-processing. For example, if you put egg on fire, maximum 5 minutes, on a normal heat level, the egg should be okay. Should be ready for eating. But if you put the egg on fire for over 20 minutes, even though the egg will not spoil, you are wasting gas, you are wasting time. And these are important resources that will reduce your efficiency. So over-processing, unnecessary steps that do not add value, you should look at it for deletion or elimination. Then overproduction. Overproduction, producing items we cannot immediately use or sell. Go to people's houses, particularly men that travel. You go on the field when they are coming, plantain, cassava, yam, cocoa yam, they buy it, bring it. The banana was plantain not any cocoa. Then cocoa not any what they use for acro. And then was then your wife will throw them away. Overproduction. Overproduction. But we don't see it as taking away our resources. Usually we don't think about it that way. But they take resources a lot from us. You produce more than what you can sell. What happens to the remaining ones? I used to shop at a supermarket called Morrison's. Those of you who know Morrison's, and they have roasted chicken, but sometimes they get their forecast wrong. And roasted chicken is not carried over to the next day. So I'll go to school around, the shop closes around 8 o'clock. So around 7, I mean, it's not only me, a lot of people knew this. Around 7 o'clock, you see us, all of us walking towards Morrison. You go, the chicken that costs £5. Normal day from morning up to that time, £5. When it's about 7:30, they close at 8. When it's 7:30, at 7 o'clock, they reduce it to £2.50. Then we'll still be hanging around the store as if we are shopping, waiting for 7:30 to click. But you also look at the quantity there. So you go walk around, come and check the quantity. £2.50. 7:30, you're still timing yourself. When it's about 7:30, then they'll reduce it to £1. And you see, you see a lot of people in the queue, both blacks and white. What they buy it for? Everybody likes cheap things. So we grab it. £2 can get you 2, take it home. Finish it the next day, the next 2 days you come. See? And that's overproduction. So when they overproduce, it costs them money. Then inventory. When you have plenty of inventory aside or in your store, it also leads to wastage and waste of resources. And this is why the Japanese came out with the concept of just in time. As you go through the lecture, we'll one day come across that concept, just in time, where they only buy what they need when they need it. See? Again, let me bring you to a typical example of the inventory at home. For those of you who are a Jamba or a Jaba, you grew up in homes where you don't have these cabinets with cereals here and there with this. Whatever your mother gives you, sometimes we eat it and we even lick our fingers. We don't leave anything going for waste. But in modern homes, like Mami Epia's home, where you have plenty of cereals for kids to eat in the morning, you prepare tea. Mommy, I don't want tea. And you call your house help. I don't unpack. Point it away and prepare something else. I'm getting late. Point it away. Because there is inventory, you can afford to prepare something else. But if you're in a home where there is no inventory, you eat what you are provided. You eat what you are provided with. You see, so inventory creates a lot of waste. Even your own office, where let's say you have plenty of A4 sheets. If you need A4 sheet for your work at school, what do you go and buy? You pick it from there, and it plenty. Nobody checks it. You see, so inventory also creates waste. It creates waste. Okay, activities in operations management include can organize work, We select processes, we arrange layouts, we locate facilities, we control quality, we schedule work, we manage inventory, we plan production. Is there any point here that you want me to explain?
No, sir.
No, sir. Okay, so Sadiq, pick the first one. Organizing work. What is it? Hey, some hands up.
Activities of organizing work. So activities. Let me see. What is organizing work?
Hang on. Jeff, you're saying we are doing 2 hours. We've done 2 hours.
Yes, please, sir.
Okay, so the session is for 2 hours, eh?
Yes, sir. It's, originally, it was supposed to be from 7:30 to 9:25, which is 2.
Oh, okay.
There was a humble.
No, it's all right. Don't worry. It's all right. In operations management, we do 3 hours, but we do 2 hours in one session and then 1 hour in another session. Because if we are going to keep to the 2 hours, we will not be able to complete what we need to do for the semester. So for operations, we do 3 hours.
Okay.
So I can wind up, and then we find another session somewhere, and then we do it. Otherwise, we can also do 2, and where we are doing online, we can do 2 hours 45 minutes straight. But maybe after 2 hours, I'll give you like 5 minutes break, and then you come back and you sit down. So let's think about it. What do you think will work best for you?
We will do 2 hours, maybe a break, or 2 hours 30 minutes.
Okay. All right. So, class, do I have your permission to wind up in about 10 minutes?
Sure, sir.
Yes, please.
Okay. All right, so we organize our work, we select processes, because whatever you are producing, you need to define the processes that will create that product. So we select our processes and we arrange our layout. The layout is what happens on the shop floor, like from production step A, production step B, production step C. The kind of layout that we have. Like if you go to your kitchen, you see the layout that you have. You have, say, spices here. You have cooking somewhere at the bottom. You have this place somewhere. That is the layout. You go to MTN office. See the layout, how staff are seated, and how they attend to customers. That's the layout. So we do that one too. And the way you do the layout can affect productivity. So we do layout, we arrange layout, then we locate facilities. Like when I started, I said, yeah, bank, we are looking to locate a branch somewhere. So we locate a branch, we locate facilities. We set up facilities in new places. We do that. We also control quality. We want to satisfy customers' requirements in terms of quality. So we control quality, we schedule our work. What must be done before which one? Which work must be done before which work? Then we manage inventory. If we don't manage inventory, there is going to be lots of waste. So manage inventory to ensure that we have just the quantities enough to help with our support our production. Then we plan the production process itself. We can say that this month, this is our production target. This week, this is our production target. For the year, this is our production target. So we plan it. Now, the activities of operations managers are closely intertwined, connected, linked with other functional areas of the firm. So marketing, finance, and human resource. Why do you think operations need human resource? They need human resource because a human resource will have to make sure that they recruit the right category of staff for them. They recruit the right category of staff for them. Accounting and finance, we need to make sure that we have the resources, financial resources available to finance our production. Marketing need to channel our products to the right places where customers can have access to them. So operations is intertwined with these three key functional areas. And important point, operations is the technical core of the firm, or most firms. Technical core. It's the pillar. Operations is the pillar on which all the others revolve. Okay. Ways in which operations interact with marketing. So these are the ways. Product and service availability. So operations will communicate to marketing that these are our production schedule. This is how the quantities we can produce in a week, in a year. This is what we can deliver. So availability. They give them the lead times. When products, the time periods within which products can be produced, delivery schedules, provide all that. Then marketing will also provide operations with their sales forecasts, because we need to know how much you plan to sell, sales forecast, so that can be applied to the production forecast. We can translate that into our production plan. So marketing works closely with production, and works closely with operations. I use the two terms interchangeably, production and operations. Operations and finance, this is how they interact. Production and inventory data, capital budgeting requests. So for example, marketing and operations will say, we need this technology, we need this equipment. It costs money, and we need to plan for that. We need to plan how we are going to get that money. We cannot use all our money to go and buy just one equipment. So we need to properly plan. So capital budgeting requests should go to finance for them to work on it. Then capacity expansion. We want to, maybe demand is going up, we need to expand our capacity. We were originally producing 250,000 pieces a year. Now we want to increase to, a friend is saying, 3,000 pieces a year. That is capacity expansion, and it goes with financing. So finance should be aware and look for the resources to support that expansion. Again, technology plans, the same thing. Ways in which operations with human resource. So operations will tell human resource their personnel needs. We need somebody with a technical background in machines. We need somebody with technical background in maintenance, blah, 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 blah. So, yes. So, and human resource will also hire, and if you're an operations staff and you are not coming to work early, you are not meeting your target, they will fire. So hiring and firing. HR will also have to train operations staff. And you also need to get them the legal requirement, explain legal requirements to operations staff, so they also work with them. Now, ways in which operations interact with suppliers. Order for materials, production, delivery schedules, quality requirements. I'm finishing soon. Operations is a costly part of an organization. And it is true. If you take our home, operations is centered in a kitchen. If you look at the amount of money we spend in the kitchen for daily upkeep of the family, it's a lot compared to what we spend money on in our living rooms and in our bedrooms. So that conversion for transformation process that takes place in the kitchen takes a chunk of our salaries. So operation is a costly part of an organization. It provides a major opportunity for an organization to improve its profitability. And that is because it is taking a chunk of the company's revenue. So if it is taking a chunk of the company's revenue, it becomes an avenue where we can explore to see whether we can save some money for the company. So let's consider this scenario. Well, this will be our last slide, then we are done. Look at this scenario. Sales, this is our current situation. Yeah, sales is 100,000. Cost of goods sold is 80,000, but we will subtract that from our sales to get our gross margin of 20,000. And then our financing cost is 6,000. So we take our financing cost from the gross margin, then we have a subtotal of 14,000. Then we pay taxes to government, 25% of whatever is remaining. And so take 25%, and that gives us 3,500. So we take that from this, and we have a contribution of 10,000. So let's pick one scenario where marketing increases their revenue by 50%. This is our current revenue, 100,000. Marketing increases the 100,000 by 50%. Our new revenue is going to be 150,000. Yeah, 150,000. Our cost of goods sold is also going to increase. So let's assume it increases to 120,000. Our gross margin then becomes 30,000. Financing, let's say it's the same, 6,000. Subtotal, subtract this from that, we have 24,000. We take our taxes, 25% from it, we have 18,000 as our contribution. And that is where marketing is playing a role. Let's say finance and accounting, we want to improve that area. And so we say financing cost is reduced by 50%. In this case, our current sales will be the same, 100,000. Our cost of goods sold is going to be the same, 80,000. Yeah? We take that from that. Our gross margin is going to be 20,000. Financing cost originally was 6,000. We say we are reducing it by 50%. So that reduces the 6,000 to 3,000, as you can see here. Our subtotal is 17,000. We take our taxes of 25% from it, and then we have a contribution of 12,750. Let's look at the operations option. Let's reduce our production cost just by 20%. Look at this. So marketing is increasing their cost by their sales by 50%. Finance, we are reducing that by 50%. In the case of operations, we are reducing our production cost by 20%. So see, our sales remain the same, 100,000. And cost of goods, this is where our operations cost is. Cost of goods sold, this is where our operations cost is. And this is 80,000. So we are reducing that by 20%. Reducing 80,000 by 20% will bring you down to 64,000. So we subtract 64,000 from 100,000. We have a gross margin of 36,000 cedis. And then our financing cost is still the same, 6,000. We take it from it. You see, we get a subtotal of 30,000. We take our taxes of 25% from it. 25% from it, and that works up to 7,500. And then we have a total contribution of 22,500. You see, if you compare these three, which one is higher? Obviously, it's this one, 22,000. And this is why we are saying that operations present a bigger opportunity for companies to improve their profitability. Compared to other functional areas, operations present the biggest opportunity for the firm to enhance its productivity and increase its profits. Okay? And operations engagement in e-commerce, we know we're all familiar with e-commerce. Trade that occurs over the internet, it's called e-commerce, computer to computer and so forth and so on. All right, and we can have what we call the B2B, we can have what we call the B2C. Now we have a lot of these e-commerce companies here. Jumia, where would you put Jumia? B2B is business to business. B2C is, what is B2C? B2C is business to consumer. And then C2C, customer to customer. And C2B, customer to business. Where would you put Jumia?
B2C.
B2C. B2C. Where would you put Amazon? Where would you put Amazon? Okay, so that is your assignment for today. Go and read whether Amazon is a B2C or B2B. Where would you put eBay? eBay. eBay.
Prof, I think eBay will be C2C.
eBay is C2C because it's customers dealing with customers.
Yeah, and Amazon will be B2C.
B2C, largely businesses selling to individuals. B2C. Thank you. So the assignment has been solved for you. This Asian one, what is the name?
Alibaba.
Alibaba, not the Express. Okay, let's pick Alibaba Express. Where would you put Alibaba Express?
I think that will also be C2C sort of. No.
B2C. Alibaba Express will be B2C, isn't it?
Yeah, B2C.
So, I think Alibaba is
they do both.
They do both. And
yes,
then the
C2C and B2C.
Alibaba itself will be B2B. Because the quantities that you buy, individuals cannot buy. So it will be business to business over here. Okay. So that's about the e-businesses formats we know. So we are here. This is the final slide for today. And okay, let me end on this one. I thought I could finish. Let me end on this one. So skip. Ofori, your hand is up.
Yeah.
Living condition and not.
Amazon,
fine.
I think it could be B2B as well as B2C, right?
Amazon.
Yeah, with the AWS system.
Okay, yeah, I think it can also be classified as B2B because businesses can also deal with businesses on Amazon. Businesses can deal with businesses on Amazon, yeah. But largely B2C. Okay. Up to this point, any question? If there are no questions, we end our class for today. And sorry for not informing you about the time we were to spend. I don't think it will happen again next week. So course rep, let me know whether we are doing 2 hours and then we break for 5 minutes and we'll continue with 45 minutes, or we do 2 hours in one session, and then you find another slot where we'll do 1 hour.
Okay, so I will revert to that later.
Okay, thank you. Class, thank you, and see you again in our next session.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you too, sir.
Stop sharing.